when you're in your contacts here, if I wanted to email Griffin, if I were to go into his contact record and click on send an email, I, as a user, don't have the option of sending or creating a template from here. So this is a permission that you can turn on or off for your team. I always recommend for people that you want to create those templates for them. Otherwise, they're just kind of freewheeling. They're not really sticking with your brand or your image or what you're trying to sell, which is yourself. So if you were to go in and choose a template, he can choose from any of the ones that are pre-built, and I can put them in folders. So I can pick folders that are shared with different groups of people. But what he cannot do is he cannot create his own template. If I were to go back to the module screen, this is really the only place that you're able to add that. So even if I do just him, select him and do an email, choose template, and again, I don't have that option to create one. So the only way that I can create one from this main module screen is if I go in and select everyone and then choose to do a mass email. So from here, I can create a template. This is something that, again, you can turn on or off depending on your user group. So right now we're going to skip that, but that is one place that you can get to where you can create a template from the module. The other place that you would generally want to set that up for your users is from the setup page. So actually close that out. You guys probably know you would go to the little wrench and screwdriver on that guy. Under customization, you want to go to the templates. So here you can see all of the templates that we already have that are built into the system. So you see the name and the subject, what it's related to. So this is a happy birthday that goes to my contacts, and it says happy birthday. Who it was modified by, when it was last used, and then the statistics, which are really fun and which I'll talk about a little bit later. So you can see that they're in different folders right now. So we've got all, we've got favorite, we've got associated, which means that they're associated with a workflow or with another automation. This is great if you want to check and make sure that something is already set up with a, what am I saying, trying to say, with any sort of workflow or other automation. Created by me, shared with me, and public email templates. So this is where you could actually create folders for your users to choose from. So right now we're going to go with just create an email template. First thing you would do is select a module. Since Griffin is my contact over there, I'm going to pick contact and go to next. And then I'm not sure how much of this you guys caught. Let me see. Okay, so I'm sure you saw on the screen before, but I want to go ahead and, excuse me, there we go. I want to make sure that you guys get a little bit of a redo on that. So these are the basic templates. They're basically just image and text box and columns that you can go in and fill in with your own information. So these I would generally recommend if you have a design department or really good graphics people who can create something that fits your look and your feel. Other options is you can pick something like acceleration. So these are kind of generic. Again, a generic one is fine and it'll work if you need that. I always recommend, if you're going to do a generic one, to replace these images and make them more you. Make them more your company instead of using stock images. Stock images generally get less clicks. So let's go back up to the basic. Let's create a 2-column one. I think this is what I picked before. It's not, but whatever, we'll roll with it. So these are all individual boxes. So right here you can see that you've got a place where you can put your company name or your logo. You've got an image box, you've got a little spacer in here, and then different text box. So for an image, you can go in and select anything you want by just clicking on that little plus sign. We're going to upload from our computer. Pick my really pretty sea anemone. and just drop that right in there. You can go in, you can manipulate all of these, you can make them different sizes, you can make them different colors, you can just basically do whatever fits you. And again, this is something that's great to do for your users in advance so that they're not just throwing something together on the fly. Make sure you spell everything right. That's a real hint that you're not that professional of a company. So we want to go in here and say thank you for your patronage. You can make this a larger font, a smaller font, whatever, again, fits your brand. That's a real important thing I feel like about templates, is that it defines who you are. So you can pick from any of these components, or I'll drag and drop. You can add text boxes, images, image plus text, which is basically side by side grouped together. Any sort of spacer, if you want to put that like extra bump in there to really kind of give your image some space. You can do fills on those. So I can come up here and choose a fill color that works with my brand. Do another spacer and give it some separation. I can go in and add additional buttons. So a button would be like a link back over to a web page. So I can pick my little rounded button here, gonna drop it in here. You can say, you know, the button name is what's displayed to your client. So you can say click here for more information, choose what it is. So you can pick a survey or a web URL, and then define where the button is going to. So define that link by entering in that URL. I'm actually going to cancel that out for right now. You can create additional columns. So if you want a section that has 2 columns and a section with 3 columns, you can just grab that. Whoops. Grab that, drop it in down here. And now you have 3 separate columns instead of the 2 columns that you would have here. An image plus text is, again, that box where they're basically grouped together. So you have an image and a text next to each other. It's easy to clone these, so you can just keep dropping in more of the same thing. You can also remove anything that you don't want or don't need. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Okay. How many of those did I add? The other great thing about Zoho is that you can really add these merge fields really nicely. So what a merge field is it takes the record that you're sending information from and it grabs specific fields out of that. And they're so easy to add in here. They're just fantastic. I really like them. So all you have to do is type in a # and it's automatically going to bring up all those individual fields within your contact record. And it's choosing from contacts because I'm creating a contact template. So right now we're going to make this really personalized and use the first name. And again, anytime I'm sending this email, it'll look at the first name of the user that I'm sending it to. So if I were to send it to Griffin, as I had kind of chosen before, then I would simply grab that contact's first name, and that's the field that will come up. All right, so the other important aspects about this is to enter a template name. And again, this is for your users. So you want to have a name that's easy for them to understand and that they can remember and know that this is the template that they should be sending out. So I'm gonna name this one, whoops, wrong button, sorry. We're gonna call this a welcome email. And then the subject is really important. The subject is the subject header of that email. So this is what your client is going to see. So choose your words closely, or choose your words carefully here. And again, make sure you know how to spell. The next thing that you're really going to want to do if, actually, sorry, I skipped a step. So if you want to add an attachment, that's a great thing to do. And this is another place where you could say, if you had a, thank you for your patronage, thank you for your order, here are the terms and conditions that you need to send, or that you need to sign and send back to us. That is where you could add that attachment, where it would be the actual terms and conditions. The nice thing about the attachments to go along with the template is that you don't have to reattach it every time. So if your salespeople are consistently sending out these the terms and conditions that they need their clients to sign, then that attachment will always be there and always connected to the template, which is really super. I don't know if you've ever forgotten an attachment before. I certainly have. It's a little embarrassing. So you can come in here and grab that that terms and conditions, that order form, whatever you need, attach it to the record. It'll be there forever. So the next thing that you want to do, I recommend, is to preview. So look at how your form looks and really make sure that you like it. Second thing I always recommend is send a test email. This will give you the option to pick any errors that you might have come across, that you might have seen in your email. You send it to yourself, you're like, wow, that doesn't look as great as I want. So I always recommend, again, sending a test email. I'm not actually going to do it today, but you get the idea. So then when you're all finished, you click save, you give it the template name, and then you can find a folder. So this is where you can create a new folder that says something like sales, operations, marketing, anything that you want, and then assign those folders to that group of users. So those are the options that they have. That way you're not your sales team isn't accidentally choosing a template that's meant to come from operations. So that's kind of a really important segregation there amongst your users, especially if you have a larger company. So right now I'm just going to drop it in the public email templates and save. And there you go. So we've got it right here. So the other fun thing, and this is actually pretty new with Zoho, is that they've given us now the ability to clone a template. So if I want to create that same message and send it not only to my contacts, but also to my leads, I can now come over here and grab the clone button and then choose a different module. And what this is going to do is it's going to tell you your merge fields that aren't going to work. So it'll say right up here, please support, remove the unsupported merge fields. So this, the contact's first name, is no longer going to work because now it has to be my lead's first name. It's the module that it's pointing to will always be the first section of that, and then the field will always be the second section of that. So this is really fantastic. I'm glad that they built this in for us. Again, it's relatively new, but this will give you that option to create that same look and feel and send it to different groups of contacts. So again, this is somebody that you want to onboard, who you're trying to get as your company or as your contact, and then this is somebody that you've already gotten as a client. I'm going to actually cancel out of this one. Okay, so let's go to look at the associated template. So these are the ones that are already associated with a workflow. So if you go to, it looks like Welcome 2.0, you can see the stats here, which says it's at 100%. You can open this up and look at your analytics. I love this because it'll show you how effective that is, and you can go and make modifications to it, make a version 2 if people aren't doing a lot of click-throughs. So at this point, we see when it was opened, it gives you all that information. So delivered, opened, unopened, and clicked. You can also go and see just your click rate specifically. And this is what we want. We want people to click through. Versioning, you can also see. So you can see, again, what your click rate is and how it's changed, and any notes that they might have met. So added fields, testing whether the email template can become a mail merge template, et cetera, et cetera. And then again, you can preview what exactly is the email saying right here. So I'm actually going to pop out of that. Sorry, I've got this hidden, so I can't actually see what's going on here. One second. Okay, get out of that. So that kind of just gives you the overview of everything that we're building into our templates. So the other thing I wanted to talk about is automating our templates. This is, again, super huge important because it ensures that you're not missing people. It ensures that you're not forgetting something. Like, I think we've all forgotten something before, like, oh man, I meant to email this new contact and I forgot to. So this will give you the ability to make sure that those things are always happening. So again, we go to our setup panel. It's down in our automation. There's actually a couple different things that we can do with our automation. I'm just going to look at workflow rules for right now because they're the most easy and the most basic. So right here, we have the workflow rules that already exist. If I click on any one of these, like the birthday email rule, and click on that guy, you can see that I've already got a selected template. So this will let you know what you're picking out of there. It'll show the recipient and who it's from. So let's cancel out of here and create our own new one. I was in our contacts. The name is, come. Again, if you're a terrible speller, we'll have that little red squiggly. Okay. So we want to execute this rule on a record action, which is a creation action. So the first time we convert this client from a lead to a contact, or kind of skip that step, some people do, and go directly to contact. This will just let them know, welcome, we appreciate you, we love having you here. So we're going to actually make this all contacts because it's all contacts when they're created. Go to next, an instant action, we're going to have a email notification. And then here you can choose, and I'm sorry, what am I doing here? I'm creating a new email notification. So the email recipients, when you're choosing those recipients, you can see if it's the contact, owner, creator, owner's manager. We're actually going to send this to email. So this is the contact email. Save that guy. And then select our template here. So our welcome to the new client. And this is actually an additional space where you can see the preview. And then you can also see when you're selecting that template, more of your stats. So the open rate and a preview. And then who it's going to come from. Save and associate, and now we have a new role. So anytime that a new contact is now added, we're going to see that email will come up. So where did this come from? There's my first name. So Bill Gates is my new client. Wouldn't that be awesome? We would all like Bill Gates as our new client. And then when I create this record, it's going to automatically send that email. So it's going to say, hey, Bill, welcome to our company. We're so glad to have your patronage. Again, I'm going to skip that step because I don't actually have his email address. I'm guessing it's bill@Microsoft. Cancel out of there. And then you also have the option when you click back to Griffin here, you can send him the email manually if you'd like to do that. Let's say he's already in your system, but he hasn't placed an order yet. And so you would want to come in here, choose that template, send that guy, and then this is exactly what it's going to look like when you send it out to him. And again, I don't actually have a real address for him, so let's click out of there. So that's kind of an overview of why templates are important, how you can automate them, and what they're going to do for your company. And I do apologize, you guys, for that first 13 minutes of blank sound. I'm getting used to the whole GoToWebinar thing. So does anybody have any questions or anything that you wanted to look at further? Nope, I'm not seeing any hands. Again, I am so sorry. I apologize that I didn't have any audio. Not going to happen again. So I want you to join me again next month. We're going to explore a lot more fun things next month, actually. Some things that I think will probably be new for a lot of users. So, sorry, I have to look at my notes. If you have more questions, please feel free to email me directly. It's kirsten@marksgroup.net. Let me switch over. Get this guy going back up. There we go. So thanks for joining me. If you have more questions or suggestions, you can please send me a note. Send it directly to me at kirsten@marksgroup.net. You can also send us anything that you want, any questions you ever have, any suggestions to support@marksgroup.net. That really helps us know what you guys are interested in, what you want to learn about more, what you want to see. Check out our YouTube channel. We've got a bunch of video tutorials up there. And then sign up for our blogs and our newsletter at marksgroup.net. So we set up blogs on a nearly daily basis, and then we do a monthly newsletter, which is a fantastic thing to get. Not to toot my own horn, but it is actually a really great one. So, sorry, I'm not showing you a very good view here. I don't know. It's not presenting, but you guys can get the general gist of what I'm saying. Again, these are going to get better as I go along. If that's it for today and nobody has any questions, then I'm going to go ahead and end this session. I hope you all have a super day and super week. And again, thanks for joining me, especially right after a holiday. And I want you all to stay safe out there. Thanks a lot and talk to you next time.